Good day, welcome to yet another English class, this time around, revision on objective questions. In our last class, we looked at some questions that are asked, or do we say some topics that are frequently repeated in our UTME. Today, we want to look at the SSCE exam. All right, so today we are basically going to look at the objective aspect of the SSCE, and much later we would look at the theory aspect. So we are going to be looking at about 140 questions. Wow, that's a whole lot, but that notwithstanding, we would go through them and give reasons for each answer that I stand to choose today. So we are kicking off immediately without much ado. So we have a series of questions from vocabulary, ranging from vocabulary building to sounds. On the sounds, we look at rhymes, we look at emphatic stress, we look at word stress, we look at sentence structures, appropriate use of words in sentences. So we are kicking off. The instruction here says choose the option that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the underlined word and that will correctly fill the gap in the sentence. I'm always particular about the instructions because it gives you a leeway to getting the right answers. So number one question says the posh cars were sandwiched between two dash ones. They were sandwiched between two dash ones. We have dented, we have rugged, we have rickety, and we have modest. So when something is posh, it is loud, it is expensive. So when we look at the option modest, we could go for it because it's the appropriate word for the sentence. So when you are not loud, when you're not conspicuous, which has to do with posh, we could go for the word that is opposite to be modest. Somebody may be thinking, why don't we go for rickety? When we talk of rickety, we refer to something that is worn out and should be put in place. But what we are looking at in this sentence demands that the posh cars were sandwiched between modest ones, not rickety ones. So the answer is modest. Let's move on to number two. Right. We are still on opposite in meaning, so the underlined word here is trivial. When the word trivial is mentioned, being that I have come across the word before, I will consider something that is not that important. When we say that trivial issues are discussed, that means unimportant issues, issues that are not weighty, they are light matters. So let's look at the word, the opposite for the word trivial. Should we go for valuable, serious, unbearable, ordinary? So we said that trivial is something that is light. Obviously, ordinary is out of it. So serious matters. We discuss serious issues. We don't discuss valuable issues. We discuss serious issues when it is not properly handled. So trivial issues often becomes what? Serious when it is not handled properly. All right, so that's the answer. Number two says, the rockstars' stellar performance contrasted sharply with the dash showing of the amateur group. Amateur are people who are just learners. So obviously learners will definitely do things that are ordinary. So when we talk about things that are ordinary, they are mundane things. All right, so the rockstars' stellar performance, that's large performance, good performance, outstanding performance, contrasted sharply with the mundane showing of the amateur group, right? So that's it. Not routine, not woeful, not awkward. They are ordinary. Mundane are ordinary things, all right? So we move on. Tolu was sanctioned for late coming, but his friend was dash. If you're sanctioned, that means you're to be punished for something done. So if you are not sanctioned, you will be what? You'll be pardoned. All right? Okay, so we move on. While other teachers support for the action, dash victors was dogged. When you say that somebody is dogged, that means the person holds tenaciously to his or her belief. All right. So while other teachers support for the action dash Victor was dogged. So the answer is what? Wavering. When you're dogged, you're firm, you're rooted, you're tenacious with your belief system, with whatever. That's a dogged person. But when you're not dogged, you're wavering. You know, when you don't, your words don't hold water, you're not sure if it is this or this. So that's it. The answer is wavering. The next one, that's number 6. Some people are good at terminating other people's projects, but are not capable of dash theirs. You know, when you terminate, it means to end. You terminate, you put to a stop an existing thing. So they say some people are good at terminating, but they can never bring up something. All right, so they can never initiate, not organize. You initiate something before you could organize. Before you organize something, there must be an existing thing. So you terminate what has been initiated, not what is organized. So that's the answer. Initiating is the correct answer. It's not executing, it's not designing. So we must be mindful with our choice of words. All right, so we move to the next. That's the precarious terraces of the stadium have been transformed into a dash walkway. When we talk about precarious, I'm saying all this because I have come across these words. So I may not necessarily have problems getting the answers, but what I will need to do is to choose the appropriate one. So when we talk about precarious, as the name suggests, it seems like something that is not good. So precarious has to do with something that is harmful. Right, so it says the precarious terraces of the stadium have been transformed into a dash walkway. It should be into a what? Secure. When something is secure, it's safe, it's not harmful, it's not going to affect anything. So that's the answer. Next, that's number 8, still under opposite in meaning. It says, if one thing irritates you, it might dash another. So what irritates you might please me, right? Something could be irritating to you, but it's not irritating to me. That means I find joy in it, I find happiness in it, but I don't have any of those words I've mentioned. So it's now for me to go for an option that is similar to my desired analysis of this opposite word, and that's delight. So if something irritates you, I could delight in that which irritates you. It shouldn't be concerned. It's not invigorate. Invigorate means to bring, you invigorate yourself. You add life to yourself. You add energy to yourself. So something that irritates will obviously bother you. So we're looking for opposite meaning, and that leaves us with the answer, delight. Okay, so number 9 says, Jane was loud as a teenager, but dash as an adult. When you say somebody is loud, the person is noisy, boisterous, the person is everywhere, the person wants to be heard. Okay, so even in small discussions, you see the person showing herself or himself. So when someone is loud, the person is not kind of a calm person. Yeah, she's not a calm person. So I don't have any word like calm. I won't go for peaceful, because that you're loud doesn't make you peaceless. All right, that you're loud doesn't make you not humble, that you're loud doesn't make you not respectful. It's just that you're just everywhere. You are kind of noisy. I think that's a perfect thing. You're kind of noisy. Okay, so the answer here that fits most is reserved. When you're reserved, you're hardly heard. Opinions are sought for before you speak. People come and they hardly notice your presence. But someone who is loud, it's like a sanguine. The person is always all out, to be seen. All right, so the last but not the least, on the words opposite in meaning, we have, do not always reprimand your children. It is good to dash them at times. When you reprimand, you correct, you scold, you chastise. That's reprimanding. So other than always scolding, other than always shouting, why don't you tell them something good, something in praise of them? So I don't have the word praise here. Obviously, it can be advice. It's not forgive. It's not pamper. We're not saying you should pamper them. Rather, compliment them. You tell them about the ills they have done, that reprimand, you're silly, you must do this. Why don't once in a while tell them you're beautiful, you look good, you compliment them. All right, so that's the answer. We'll move to number 11. Another aspect of English. And at this point, we are asked to choose the word that best completes each of the following sentences. We're still on the, should we go for grammatical structure? Grammatical structure, vocabulary development, whichever, it's all in English. So we are looking at the word that best completes the sentence. Remember, the word best is a superlative, meaning that there could be a word that is good, that it could be a word that is better, but we want to go for the best, and that's what we actually do. So the aggrieved customers staged a fierce dash on the streets. The aggrieved customers staged a fierce what can ever be staged is a protest. All right, you protest against something, right? So you don't stage a fight, a fierce fight. No, you don't stage a fierce argument. No, not a contest. You're not contesting anything. It is a protest. You're speaking against something, right? So the accused was brought before the jury for a court dash. The accused, he has to be heard. He has to be heard. Now, I want to let us know something. Some things are known by virtue of your exposure. So it's important as a scholar that you are conversant with a whole lot of fields of study. Do not say because I'm an art student, I shouldn't know a little of biology, I shouldn't know a little of geography, I shouldn't know a little of maybe any of the courses in that science line. And should you not also say because you're a science student, you don't have business with government or any other thing, or maybe commerce or marketing, any subject related to the arts. All right, so it's important that as a scholar, you get yourself abreast, at least to a little extent, that when discussions on a particular field of study is raised, you are able to answer one or two questions. You may not get the totality of them, but you could answer one or two, and that is what we're seeing here now. All right, so the accused was brought before the jury for a court hearing. We do a court hearing. We want to hear what he has to do. Proceedings have to do with the line of doing something. But here, it is the accused that was brought so that we could hear what he has to say. So it's a court hearing, not a court sitting, not a court judging, not proceedings, but hearing. Number 13, from his dash, one can tell that he is an athlete. So from what can one tell that he's an athlete? From his physique, from his stature, from his gait, from his anatomy. Anatomy is a biology word that has to do with the body makeup. All right, so we could actually be thinking it's that, but it's not. From his stature. Someone's stature doesn't tell. Of a short stature, she's a tall person, doesn't mean that he's an athlete. But someone's physique, when we talk about physique, we talk about build. From your build, one could actually tell that you are what? An athlete. Number 14 says the death of that journalist is still dash in mystery. Mystery is something that is secret, all right? So it says the death of that journalist is still shrouded. It's still conveyed, no. It's still shadowed, no. It's still confined, it's shrouded. Now there is something we refer to as collocation. Collocation has to do with the appropriate word that goes with another. So shrouded in mystery, it's the appropriate word for the sentence, or rather shrouded is the appropriate word to be used with mystery. We can't use conveyed, we can't use shadowed, we can't use confined in mystery. No, we can't use shrouded. It's still a hidden thing. It's still made secret. So the answer is shrouded. Number 15, it says the defendant was charged with dash because he accused the neighbors, because he caused his neighbor's death. Okay, the options are fratricide, patricide, genocide, homicide. Sincerely, I've not come about it. Like, I can't think of the word genocide. Patricide has to be with a partner, something, possibly a father killing a child. Then homicide, any accident that happens within the house, within the neighborhood. is called homicide. And he said the defendant was charged with homicide because he caused his neighbor's death. That's homicide. All right, so number 16 says, from the words lettered A to D, choose the word that best completes each of the following sentences. Seeing a young crop dash from the soil is a rare experience. Do crops trail? No. Do crops sprout? Yes. Crops sprout. That's the come up. Sprout its head. All right, so that's the answer. All right, lawyers are still making efforts to interpret the new law. Laws are interpreted. Law is not a language. Technique is not a law. Is not language. Law is not technique. Law is not a system, but statute is a system. Is a law rather. So that's the answer. The cargo was intercepted on sea by dash. It's dicey. The cargo was intercepted on sea by dash. Okay, so the act happened in the sea. Robbers and thieves go on ground. They hardly go on sea. Terrorists as well. But pirates, I've not heard pirates being used. You see how I'm getting my answer? That's how I got it. Because robbers, terrorists, and thieves operate on land. All right? But here we're looking at the cargo was intercepted on sea. And that's pirates. That's why I'll go for pirates. Okay, so number 19. The doctors dashed Bollard's grandmother after the heart attack. The doctors dashed Bollard's grandmother after the heart attack. What did the doctor do? Regenerate? No, regenerate means to bring up something new. Remember, in one of my classes, we looked at prefixes, and we said that prefixes are word elements added to a root word, all right, at the beginning of a root word to give another meaning. Yes, sometimes the antonym of that word, yes. So generate, we have a word generate as a root word. So regenerate means to bring back, all right? So it's not, doctors don't regenerate. Okay, we have resuscitated. Resuscitated is just a word on its own. There is the it's not a prefix. Resuscitate is just a root word on its own, right? So you resuscitate someone. Yes, you resuscitate someone who seemed to have been off, maybe who is unconscious. You resuscitate the person back to life. So you don't resurrect. The person is not dead and buried. The only person that can resurrect is someone who has been dead and buried, as the story of Jesus holds. Then revivified. No, you revive, you resuscitate someone who is down. Number 20. Because the couple cannot agree on many things, their relationship is now what? What happens to a relationship? Relationships are strained. You don't stress relationships. You don't uneasy relationships. You don't tense it. Atmosphere can be tensed, all right? A person can be stressed. One can be uneasy, but you strain a relationship. Remember, I made mention of collocations. So these are where collocations come to play. So relationships are strained. They are not tensed. They are not uneasy. They are not stressed. They are rather strained. Has to take it beyond, it can go, it's become, weak. All right, let's continue. It says, after each of the following sentences, a list of possible interpretation is given. Whenever we hear of interpretation, a list of possible interpretation given, we should be thinking of idiomatic expressions. So wherever you see interpretations, think of your idiomatic expression. I did mention to us during my possible questions that come out in UTME, that idioms come out in UTME and as well in SSCE or WAEC or GCE. So you must, at every point in time, get yourself accustomed to one idiom. If it is possible, learn 1 or 2 idioms a day. It could actually help. All right, so let's look at this. It says, revealing that information will cut the ground from under my feet. To cut the ground from under my feet. Obviously, when you cut something from under the feet, you're, ruining something. That means you're taking off the existence of that thing. That's what it means to cut something from under the feet. That means the thing becomes useless. So let's look at options. Expose my plants, no. Ruin my plants, I go. Support, no. Promote, no. So one will be cut between exposing my plants and ruining my plants. But the sentence is revealing that information will cut the ground from off my feet. It will make it useless. You will ruin it. So it's better you don't say it. So B is the answer. So sometimes you could actually use your dictionary to search out idioms when you go for the keyword ruin, cut under my feet. You look at revealing the information will cut the ground from under my feet. You check idioms on feet. You could actually get the right answer. All right, so we move on. Mother always tells me to keep my nose clean. What does it mean to keep your nose clean? Now, I know of a particular idiom that says to nose around. So when you nose around, you want to know everything that happens. So if you want to avoid being in trouble, to be asked what happened, you just keep your nose clean. So to keep your nose clean means to stay out of problems. All right, so the answer is showing itself to us. So stay healthy, no. Do what pleases me, no. Stay out of troubles. So you keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble. All right. Remember, idioms have fixed meanings. They are not like proverbs. So once you say something has a fixed meaning, it simply means that wherever you go to and you use it, it passes the same information. So when we talk about keep your nose clean, we're saying stay out of trouble. Now, this action effectively puts the markers on the project. You put markers on the project. So it says this means that the project take off soon, not to be executed, be delayed, not begin well. It says the action effectively puts the markers on the project. All right, so I'll go for not to be executed. When I put markers on the project, it means that the project will not be executed. Markers are people who are not serious with things. The action effectively puts the markers on the project. It means that the work obviously will not be executed. So the project will not be executed. The next one, you can see clearly that we are surpassed in numerical strength. What do you mean by numerical strength? It has to do with number. And surpass means we are above, we are more, we are high. All right, so you can see clearly that we are surpassed in numerical strength. This means that we are fewer. They are surpassed in numerical strength. They are not more, they are not much weaker, but they are fewer than they are. The people in question surpasses them in numerical strength. That means they are fewer than the other people. All right, so move on. One of the athletes was disqualified because she jumped the gun. What does it mean to jump the gun? That means you're going before time. When you jump the gun, that means you're going before the appropriate time. So let's see. This means that she started too soon, on time, hurriedly, without permission. Now, some persons can be stuck apart from on time, which is obviously contrary to the idiom, jumping before the gun. That says the athlete was disqualified because she jumped the gun. When you jump a gun, that means you jump protocols. So should we say hurriedly? I wouldn't go without permission. All right. The protocol is that the person went off too soon. Maybe before the gun was released, before the whistle went, the person took off. So it went out too soon. And when you say too soon, it's in the negative. That means it's something not nice. All right, we continue. You could actually check up all these idioms using your dictionary. I did say it before, or you go online and check the appropriate meaning so that you will get the information better. All right, so we move to the next question. That's number 26. We still have a whole lot to catch up with. So be careful of what you say. There are no flies on the bus. This means that the bus is, there are no flies. You know, it says be careful of what you say. There are no flies on the what? On the bus. When there are flies in something, there is a possibility that the person is not that wise, it's not intelligent. But when there are no flies on your bus, you're actually smart. That's what I would go for. Not gullible, not strict. There are no flies on the bus means that the person is smart, intelligent, witty. The person could actually address things very easily. All right, so the students cocked their ears at the principal's speech. When you cock your ears on something, when you have your ears on something, all right, you have heard of to eavesdrop. When you talk about eavesdropping, the person listens to what is being said in the secret. So when we talk about ear in idioms, it has to do with sensitivity. So let's see, it says this means that the listened with little interest, no, rapt attention. You know what it means to listen with rapt attention? Your whole being is in it. So no understanding, no interest. The answer is the listen with rapt attention. You have your ears cocked. The students cocked their ears. They kept it ready to get all the teacher has to say or the principal has to say. So that's with rapt attention. Everything in you. That's what it means to listen with rapt attention. Is different from listening with you're paying attention. Okay, but with rapt attention is an adjective that describes the nature of your attention. So it's more like saying your being, everything, your members are engaged in what the principal was saying. So we'll move to the next one. Your daughter will do very well in school. She has a good head on her shoulder. She has a good head on her shoulder. This means that she is what? Very beautiful. That's way out of the answers. Thinks fast, is sensible, is well behaved and diligent. All right. So we do very well in school because she's what? Once you're sensible, you are well behaved and you're diligent and you could think fast. So sensible, being sensible is all encompassing. So thinking fast could be different from being well behaved and intelligent. But sensible is more or less holistic. It's an embodiment of all that is there, apart from it's very beautiful. All right, we get going. Number 29. The accountant has been under a cloud since the fraud scandal. Under a cloud since the fraud scandal. That means that the accountant is worried. No. Under supervision, I wouldn't go for that. Unhappy when you are under the cloud. Okay. Under the weather, it's to be sick. Under the cloud is a different thing. So I'm suspicious. He said the accountant has been under a cloud since the fraud scandal. So because of the fraud scandal, the accountant has been under suspicion, suspecting him that he must have done something. So it's under suspicion. That's the answer I will go for. Immediately the truth was revealed, Ngozi flew into a rage. Ngozi flew into, you know what it means to fly into a rage? You become very angry. You want to show yourself. You want to prove that, oh, I am not happy, okay? So became sad, became desperate, ran away, suddenly became very angry. That's to go into a rage. Anger, not sadness. Anger, it's associated with rage. Sadness isn't associated. Sadness is associated with temperament and feeling. But rage is by virtue of your anger. That's it. So we move on. Parents encourage their children to exercise financial prudence. Oh, we have another aspect, that's the synonyms. Yes, nearest in meaning. So we are going for nearest in meaning. We are done. We have 10 questions from opposite in meaning, and here I assume from 31 to 40 will be questions on synonyms, that's words that are nearest in meaning to the underline. So parents encourage their children to exercise financial prudence. Prudence has to do with, if you say you're prudent, that means you're wise in your spending. Prudent is an adjective, prudence is a noun. That's why we have financial prudence. Financial, there is an adjective qualifying the nature of wisdom. That's prudence. So, other than exercising financial prudence, what's another word that we could use for for prudence? Caution, credence, sincerity, precision. Caution, let there be caution in what you do. There should be caution. All right? That's being courteous. Our deceived Ahmed into handing over all his savings. He was cheated. All right? You cheated me. You made me. Now, it's important that we know that fool and cheat are two words that can be synonymous to the word deceive. But in this context, we are going to cheat it because not that Ahmed lacked wisdom to, all right, know what was happening, but he was cheated. So we are not using food because in this context, cheated is more appropriate. So we are going to question number, we've taken care of 31, 32, 33. It says, it turned out that the plaintiff's claim was false. It turned out that the plaintiff's claim was false. When we talk about claim, we talk about what? Allegation. A claim is an allegation, something that has been leveled on you. Then we'll move to 34. 34 says, the aggrieved faction held a clandestine meeting. Clandestine meeting. Now, it's really funny. Some people may be saying, how is it possible some words may not be known? Yes, actually, that's the truth. I've come across the word clandestine before, and that's why I know that it's something hidden. Clandestine has to do with a hidden activity. When we say we had a clandestine gathering, that's a hidden one, unknown, it's a secret, all right? So the thing is that we just have to get to learn words. Try as much as possible to learn words. When you read books, identify words you don't know. When you come across new words, try to analyze them in context at the point of reading. Where you're unable to, then you can go for your dictionary, look it up in the dictionary so as to get the meaning. Sometimes you may not know a word, but contextually you could deduce the meaning of that word. All right, so Morgan Pharmacy is the sole distributor of the antiviral drug. When something is the sole, that is the main, that is more like the only one, the lone thing. So I'm going for the word only. I will not go for major because it's not a major thing. It's the only, it's the sole. When you say that something is sole distributor, is the only distributor of antiviral drug. I move to number 36. Police officers holding batons. Police officers holding batons impounded the banker's car. To impound means to seize. When you impound, you seize. You know, I come across all these words maybe by virtue of listening to news, reading newspapers, you know, reading write-ups. These are ways to develop your vocabularies. You read books, you read write-ups, you read articles. That way you are able to, you know, widen your knowledge in vocabulary. So impound means to seize. When you impound a vehicle, you are seizing the vehicle. Number 37 says the English teacher is always cheerful. Yeah, just like myself. The English teacher is always cheerful. So if I'm cheerful, I'm joyous, all right? I'm elated. So I look at those words. Satisfied, no, has nothing to do with cheerfulness. Cheerfulness is a facial expression, is what is seen. All right, satisfied has to do with contentment, which may not be physically seen, but when you are acting out, it can now be seen. Zealous, no, zealous has to do with work. Gleeful, yeah, that's it. So I guess you've learned a word because it's possible gleeful could be used in another exam and you're asked to give the synonym of gleeful or the antonym of gleeful. So cheerful, it means gleeful, it's not careful. So we move on. The chairman is of the opinion that laying off workers is pernicious. Seems that anything pay has to do with something bad. The other one, in the opposite meaning, we saw something like precarious. Yes, precarious. Now we are seeing pernicious to the growth of the company. Obviously, when you keep laying off workers, it will affect the growth of the company. So pernicious means to affect, to be harmful, or to be detrimental to the growth of the company. So I don't have detrimental, I don't have to be any other option. Irrelevant doesn't suit. Irrelevant means it's unimportant to the growth, it's not there. Indispensable means unavoidable. Indispensable means that the person can't function without that person. That's wrong. Crucial means important. So it's obviously not important. Laying off workers isn't important to the growth of the company. So the answer is what? Harmful. All right, so I may not be taking so much time in explaining all this, so please pardon me. So it was she that commanded me to leave the room. It was she that commanded me to leave the room. Someone may be asking, is this sentence correct? Why some people would be saying it was her. No, it's correct. If you go through my go through one of my videos where I treated the use of personal pronouns, okay, subject personal pronouns, object personal pronouns, you would see one of the rules that I gave, that when you use the auxiliary verb and you're in demand of a pronoun, you have to use your subject personal pronoun. So it was she that commanded me to leave. It's just more like saying she commanded me, because I can't say it was her that commanded me, no. So she is the subject and has to be the doer of the action. So it was she that commanded me to leave the room. She ordered me. When you're commanded, you're ordered. It's more like sentence by functions where you have imperative. Imperatives function as orders, commands. I'm giving an order, I'm giving a command. It has to be obeyed. Commands are obeyed, orders are also obeyed. So the answer is ordered. Number 40 is still very far. So the valedictorian was admired for her perseverance while at school. The valedictorian was admired for her perseverance. When we talk about perseverance, we talk about patience. Someone who could stand the test of time no matter what he or she is going through. Now, someone will quickly choose option A as the answer, but that's not the answer. Remember, we're looking at the option that is best for the sentence. So let's look at the word tenacity. Tenacity has to do with holding firmly, and that's also synonymous to perseverance in this context. So the valedictorian was admired for her tenacity while in school. She held rather firmly to her studies. She never gave up, no matter what. And she was able to excel. That's what made her the valedictorian, the best amongst her mates or her set.